Hi, Stuart here from lawnmowing101.com. What I'd like to talk about today is, can you run your lawn mowing business without a trailer? And if you can, how do you go about setting it up? So you see a lot of vehicles on the road these days pulling trailers, and I've pulled a trailer for over 25 years, so I know what it's like. It's trailers are quite good. They do have their benefits, but they have their drawbacks as well. And it really depends what kind of business you're operating. If you were going to, let's say, set up in a van or a pickup, you'd probably the best way to do it would be to get bales for the grass, and place the bales behind the cab, and then place the mowers and all your other equipment on the back of the of the pickup or the van. So but I'll go into it a little bit more and describe how I do it, because it's maybe a little bit different from your typical setup. So the pros and cons of having a trailer, it depends. If you are going to need a trailer if you're going to do things like if you're going to do a lot of tree work, you're going to need a trailer to take all of that away. In fact, I have a trailer that's reserved for tree work, and I just take it out with me when I need it. Or if you're working as a two-person team, you're not going to be able to work effectively from one vehicle. It's just going to be too crowded, and you're not going to get any kind of real production. You're just going to be tripping over each other all day. Now, the other reason that you might want a trailer is if you're filling up with grass every day, and you're getting far too much grass to carry around, and in the back of a pickup or the back of a van, then you may want to be using a trailer. Now, a trailer does give you more space. It also means that you don't have to use bags, which is a real time saver. You're going to be doing fewer trips to the dump, and of course, if you've got a pickup and you're using a trailer, then you've got room for your dog on the pickup, so you can have a bit of company. Now, the disadvantages are that you're going to use more fuel. Now, you're going to find it a little bit harder to get into tighter driveways, and you're going to need to pay to keep the trailer insured and street legal. You're also going to have a problem with security unless the trailer's covered. So if you're wondering, so if you've decided that you may use a truck or a van instead of a trailer, here's what I put in mind. If I set up a van, and I set up 5 vans last year, and they were before I scaled down my business, I had 5 vans on the road, and basically I used to have the same thing in every vehicle. I used to put in a GPS unit so they could find their way from one job to the next without having to use their phone. I also put in the clipboard or the job sheet. I'd have wet weather gear. I'd have the line trimmer and cord, and I'd also put in some bump caps, because I like the guys to replace the caps as soon as they start getting holes in them. So I put in a small toolkit, and when I say a small toolkit, I don't mean something completely massive. I mean just enough to do any maintenance that needs to be done on the spot that can get you back on the road. And so these are things like a spark plug spanner, and a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, just your a pair of long nose pliers, a pair of stump nose pliers, just a bit of tie wire and some cable ties, just those kind of things. So if something goes wrong, they can fix it on the spot, because if I can save them going to the mower shop, then at the end of the day, that's going to save me a lot of money. So the other thing that you will be wanting is a first aid kit and some sunblock. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, don't forget to put in a cord charging their phone, whatever kind of phone they're using, because the last thing you want is to have a guy out there and not be able to contact him because his phone's gone flat. And you'll be surprised how often this happens. So so you want a charger in there. Now the other thing that I find really, really handy to put in a vehicle, well, to put in any vehicle actually, even if you're towing a trailer, is a tyre pump that plugs into a 12 volt, like the cigarette lighter, because those are, you know, really, really handy if you have a flat tyre or something like that. You can try pumping the tyre up and then drive to a tyre shop, which will save you having to replace the tyre, or it just allows you to keep on working and go to the tyre shop at the end of the day rather than halfway through your day. Now I like to keep a small bin in there as well for all the bits and pieces, or just all the rubbish that you accumulate, because if you don't have a bin in there you'll end up getting it all over the cab. And it's also handy if you've got guys working in there, because they chuck everything in the bin and you just empty it into your big bin at the end of the day. Now and of course the other thing you don't want to forget is your lunchbox. yeah, gotta eat. Now there's now with vans, I find that I prefer the vans, because you do have the security there that you don't have when you've got a pickup. Because with a pickup you've got to lock all your gear up every time you go somewhere, and that can be a real pain. And also it's actually, you can get cheaper insurance if you run a van than you can if you've got everything exposed on the back of a truck. So so it's worth thinking about. I used to, even when I had my trailer, I used to lock up all my petrol cans and all my gear. I used to run chains through the whole lot. Sometimes I used to wonder the amount of time that I'd spend unlocking and locking chains. In fact, even with mostly with the fuel, I wondered whether it was even worth it, you know. But then again, I have turned up on a job and then realised that someone's stolen all my fuel cans, and then you've got to, you know, you're going to lose a few hours and about $30 replacing the cans and everything else. So security is good, and this is why I've gone with vans. The benefits that I find having a sole person and a sole operator in a van is that I've only got one guy out there. The van is his own. Everything's set up how he likes it. If there's any gear that's been damaged, then we know who did it. and also if the van gets a speeding ticket, we know who's driving it. It just made it a lot simpler for us. And we find that like if we send two people out together in a vehicle, they might get through 15 lawns or something like that. If we send two people out in two different vehicles, they're going to get through about 24 lawns. So you figure it out. The economics of having one person in a trailer worked really, really well for me. Now, at the end of the day, I guess you just go with what suits you. If you feel that you need a trailer, then by all means get a trailer. If you think you can work out of a pickup or a van, then do that. I'd suggest that you went with the van because that's what's worked for me. But if you feel more comfortable with a pickup, then do that. And at the end of the day, it's your decision. If you decide that you want to buy a trailer, then I've actually got a guide to buying trailers on my website. So if you go to lawnmowing101.com/trailer, you'll find the guide to buying trailers. And if you want, I've got a blog about how to set up the van. And so if you want to have a look at that, you go to lawnmowing101.com/setup, or you can click on the link below, and that'll take you to that page, and you can have a look and set up your van the same way I do. Okay, well that's all I've got today. So you guys have fun and have fun out there mowing lawns. I'll see you later.